Stolen children and broken families. South Korea's overseas adoption program. In South Korea, a girl went out to play with some friends, but never returned home. What her parents didn't know was that she had been kidnapped and sent to the West. This has happened to hundreds of thousands of children due to problems with South Korea's overseas adoption program. Following the Korean War in the 1950s, South Korea struggled with poverty and had too many orphaned children. In response, the government started a program to send children abroad for adoption, primarily to Western countries. By the 1980s, South Korea had become the largest source of adopted children, exporting over 200,000 children overseas. Although it was supposed to be a humanitarian effort, the program was horribly carried out. Many children were kidnapped, reported as orphaned or abandoned, and sent overseas without their parents' knowledge. Some mothers were even led to believe their babies had died at birth. What's worse, the fact that these children were given fake identities makes it difficult to track their birth families. Recently, South Korea has begun dealing with the program's past mistakes. However, there's still a long way to go before these children can find their way home.
Today's warm-up quiz is: many families in the area have no jobs and little food and live in blank. A. Poverty. B. Safety. C. Comfort. D. Freedom.
You have 15 seconds to think about it. Time's up.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Claire.
And today we're going to be talking about, I think it's kind of a sad topic,
Right.
and a little bit dark, but I think it is important to kind of shed light on it because I didn't really hear about this a lot in the news, and I think it's good that we kind of mention it today, right? Yeah, so the title of today's article is Stolen Children and Broken Families, South Korea's Overseas Adoption Program.
Alright, 所以人道救援、人口贩卖、南韩海外收养计划黑历史。
Okay, I actually like reading about things like this because it makes it like, I like learning about history and I like learning about real things. So I'm excited to take a look. So let's look at today's article. It says, in South Korea, a girl went out to play with some friends but never returned home.
Oh, that sounds already pretty scary. How, so from play with, I want to talk about this phrase. We learn this girl is probably still a child because play with often suggests literal play. 真的是在玩游戏，比如说玩躲猫猫、捉迷藏、玩玩具。So for you, for teenagers or adults, we would use hang out with because at your age, 你不会玩捉迷藏那些的吧？ So you would say, I like to play with. You don't say, I like to play with my friends because it sounds childish. But in the article, it fits naturally since it's about a little girl.
Yeah, like you don't say to your friends, let's play with each other.
No.
You usually say, let's hang out with each other.
Right.
Okay, so let's continue reading. It says, what her parents didn't know was that she had been kidnapped and sent to the West.
Okay.
That's horrible because kidnap here just means to take somebody away illegally and maybe keep them as a prisoner. We can also use this word, abducted.
所以 kidnap 呢，它是一个动词，就是绑架的意思。那它的名词要小心哦，是加 ing 型的 kidnapping。那绑架的人，把你绑架的人，那个就叫做 kidnapper，劫持者。
Oh, that's so scary. I can't imagine being a child and having that happen to you. Like, that's so
traumatizing.
much. Yeah, so much trauma. It's traumatizing. Next, the article says, this has happened to hundreds of thousands of children due to problems with South Korea's overseas adoption program. Okay, overseas here is an adjective and it means connected with foreign countries. And it's especially separated from your country by the sea or ocean. So, for example, example, if you're from Taiwan and you decide to study in Japan for college, then you're going to be in an overseas maybe exchange program or study program or something like that. We can also use it in a sentence like this. Kim was nervous but also excited about going on an overseas trip on her own for the first time. Okay, so
既期待又怕受伤害的感觉。
I know, exactly. We also saw the word adoption here. Adoption comes from the word adopt, and that means to take someone's child or animal and let them become a part of your family. So, yeah, adoption is the process of doing that.
OK， 所以我们第一个看到 overseas， 它是一个形容词，可以表示海外的或是国外的。但是同时这个字呢，也可以当副词用哦，就一样的意思，海外的、国外的。那近义字呢，可能各位有学过的是 abroad 这个字。So if you wanna go out of your out of Taiwan to study, you might say study abroad, but you can also say study overseas. 好，那下一个单字呢，我们看到 adoption， 它是一个名词，就是收养或是领养的意思。那它的动词呢，就是把那个 ion 去掉，变成 adopt。那形容词被收养的、被领养的，你就可以用 adopted。好，那我们现在不是有一个口号吗？要领养代替购买。So how do we say this in English? We say adopt. Don't shop.
That's right.
简洁有力的口号。
Yeah. Okay, next the article says, following the Korean War in the 1950s, South Korea struggled with poverty and had too many orphaned children.
That's difficult time.
Struggle is a verb and it means to try very hard to do something when it is difficult or when there are a lot of problems. For example, we can say, Ivan struggles with depression, but he goes to a therapist every week and is getting better each day.
好，所以我们看到 struggle 这个动词有拼搏、奋斗的意思。通常这个字后面呢，我们会加 to be struggle to do something， 但是呢，它也可以当一个名词用哦。好，那 for example， 这是动词的用法。I struggle to wake up before 8 a.m. every day when I was in college.
Oh my goodness.
It's very difficult.
That's really early.
Yeah.
Okay, so for example, South Koreans at that time, they struggled with poverty, okay, especially after a war, right? Poverty is a noun and it means a state of being poor or having no money. So there are places around the world where people aren't that fortunate and they struggle with not having enough money. That means they don't even have, enough money to maybe eat or have clean clothes or even just water. Okay, so that's what poverty means. So here we can say Oscar donates money to a charity every month to help people stuck in poverty.
Wow, how kind of him.
Yeah, and because of war and poverty, many children were orphaned. And orphaned here just means to have no father or no mother. So sad.
Right, 所以这边我们看到 poverty 它是一个名词，就是贫困、贫穷。可能各位之前有学过 poor 这个单词，它是它的形容词。So for example, he grew up in poverty， 就是他在一个很贫困的状况下长大。那另外一个单词我们看到 orphan， 它是形容词，成为孤儿的或是失去双亲的。那它的名词就会是把 ed 去掉，变成 orphan。所以we were talking about this movie last time， 孤儿院，它就叫做 orphan。
I'm scared of that one. I don't want to watch it.
No, I will never watch that.
Yeah.
所以大家有答对今天的 warm up quiz 吗？我们来看一下。So many families in the area have no jobs and little food and live in blank. 好，所以很多这个地区的家庭呢，他们没有工作，而且缺乏食物，生活在什么当中呢？我们看一下答案。A. Poverty 贫困贫穷。B. Safety 安全。好，那 C. Comfort 舒适。D. Freedom 自由。They don't have any job or little food， 所以当然是要选 poverty， 他们生活在贫困当中，所以 A 是正确答案。
That's right. Next in the article it says, in response, the government started a program to send children abroad for adoption, primarily to Western countries. So yeah, we saw the phrase in response to something. It just means an answer or reaction to something. Okay, so this sounds like a good idea since,
the intention was good actually.
Yeah, because the idea is that people in Western countries probably had a little bit more money.
Right.
So hopefully these children would be able to live better lives.
Right. 好，那所以这边呢，我们看到 in response to to something 就会是作为对某事的回应。So for example, if you go to like a very fancy restaurant, this might work. So in response to my complaint, the restaurant gave me a cake for free.
Yeah, so but don't do that all the time just to get a free cake. I think maybe sometimes if there really is something wrong,
right.
maybe they might say, okay, here's a cake for you to feel better, but don't do it on purpose. Give the people in restaurants a break. Okay, let's continue reading in the article. It says, by the 1980s, South Korea had become the largest source of adopted children, exporting over 200,000 children overseas. That's a lot of kids.
10万个小孩子
Yeah, a lot of children, okay? We saw the word source. Source is a noun and it means a place, person, or thing that you get something from. So, for example, as you've learned, when you write a research paper, you must credit and let people know the source, like where you got your information from. You cannot take someone else's words and say it was your own. You'll get in trouble, and that's actually called plagiarism. Okay, so you have to tell them, oh, I got my information from this website or this magazine article or this newspaper. Okay?
不然的话呢就变成抄袭
Yeah, don't do that. We can use source in a sentence like this. Brian's main source of income comes from his from his job as a computer engineer, but he also sells his own artwork on the side. Yeah.
好，所以这边看到了 source 呢，它是一个名词，来源的意思。So something be the source of 就会是什么东西为某事的来源。So another example would be chocolate is the source of my happiness.
Me too. Chocolate is amazing. Okay, so next it says, although it was supposed to be a humanitarian effort, the program was horribly carried out. I wonder what happened. All right, so we saw the phrase be verb supposed to do something. It just means used to say what was or expected or intended to happen, especially when it did not happen. So for example, we can say the movie was supposed to start at 7 p.m., but the screen stayed dark for 10 minutes. It can also mean to have a duty or responsibility to do something. So we can also use in a sentence like this. You're supposed to arrive on time for work.
所以这个片语我们看到 be supposed to 后面会加原形动词，就是应该或者是应当。那它的主词呢，也可以是人，那也可以是物哦。如果是人的话呢，意思就是某人应该要做某事。So for example, we were supposed to leave at 8 a.m., but we overslept. 睡过头了。
Oopsies. Okay. We saw humanitarian. It just means connected to helping people who are suffering and helping them improve their conditions. It's related to human rights.
所以我们看到这个单词里面有一个 human 嘛，就是人类。Humanitarian 呢是形容词，人道主义的。You can say humanitarian effort or humanitarian reasons.
That's right. And then we also saw the phrase carry out something. It just means to do something that needs to be organized and planned or to perform a task.
Right, 所以 carry out something 就是执行。So what can you carry out? You can carry out a program or carry out an experiment 实验 or carry out an operation 执行这个手术。
Yeah, something like that. Okay, next, let's continue reading the article. It says, many children were kidnapped, reported as orphaned or abandoned and sent overseas without their parents' knowledge, okay?
That's actually false information.
Yeah, that's wrong. Okay, abandoned just means you're left and no longer wanted or needed. I feel like this is kind of turning into more like child trafficking, perhaps. Yeah.
Okay, 所以这边 abandon 是被遗弃的意思。
The article then says some mothers were even led to believe their babies had died at birth. That's even worse.
Right, 所以这边 lead to 呢，以前可能有学到是导致的意思，但是这边有刻意误导去欺骗这些妈妈，所以有些妈妈甚至被骗，以为自己的宝宝一出生就死了，但其实他们只是被绑架。
I know, that's horrible. It says, what's worse, the fact that these children were given fake identities makes it difficult to track their birth families. That is pure evil.
所以但是这一句呢，包含了我们今天的文法哦。Let's take a look. 好，那我们今天的 Language in Focus 要来看到 the facts or the belief or the news 加上一个 that 子句的句型。什么时候我们会用到这样子的句型呢？当我们要陈述一件事情和补充说明这件事相关的细节的时候，我们常用。那这个事情呢，当然可以是 fact 事实、belief 信念，或是一个消息 news、idea 想法、点子等等。那后方呢，它加了一个 that 可以引导的名词子句，当做同位语。补充说明这件事情，那要小心哦，这个句子的 that 是不可以省略的。我们先来看到 that 子句当主词同位语的用法。文章呢，我们看到 What's worse, the fact that these children were given fake identities， 这些小孩子被赋予假身份这个事实。Makes it difficult to track their birth families， 使得追查他们的原生家庭就变得很困难。好，那 another example， the fact that he lied to me really hurt， 他对我说谎这件事情让我很受伤，所以我们看到这边是不能省略这个 that 的。那第二种用法呢，我们可以看到 that 子句也可以当作受词的同位语。比如说 We heard the news that the famous singer will have a concert here。 好，所以这边呢，大家就看到在后面了，我们听到知名歌手要来开演唱会的消息。那另外一个要注意的地方是，句子中的动词跟助动词应该要根据修饰的名词来改变，而不是根据 that 子句里面可能会出现的一些复数的名词。So for example, the old belief that the earth was flat has been proven false。 好，地球是平的这种旧观念已经被证实是错的了，所以 the old belief 它是一个单数的名词嘛，那所以要用后方的 has。
All right, so back to our sentence, we also saw the word fake, and it's an adjective, and it means not what somebody claims it is. It's appearing to be something that it's not real. So, for example, we can say, my sister bought a Chanel bag at a night market for only $200 NT, but after taking a close look, it was totally fake.
Right. I mean, she's not expecting it to be real, I guess. Okay, so fake 呢，它是一个形容词，是假的或是伪造的。So for example, the diamond is fake, but it shines like a real one.
We also saw the word identity. It's a noun and it means who or what somebody or something is. It's basically like who or what you are, your name, and where you come from. For example, we can say, the murder mystery story is so good. I'm almost at the part where they find the identity of the killer.
好，所以这边的 identity 呢是一个名词，是身份的意思呢。假身份就是 fake identity。
Then the article says, recently, South Korea has begun dealing with the program's past mistakes.
They should. 所以南韩呢就已经开始处理这个计划过去的错误了。Okay.
Then it says, however, there's still a long way to go before these children can find their way home. Okay, a long way to go just means the need or the to need to make a lot of progress before you can achieve something. Like there's a lot of work that needs to be done in order for there to be improvements.
So a long way to go 呢，就是在成功之前还有很长一段路要走。So for example, I have a long way to go before I can run a marathon. I cannot do that now.
Me too. But luckily, I think at least the South Korean government is doing something to help these families out. So sad. Such a sad article, but I'm glad this has been brought to light so we know more about this.
Right, so and they can also fix the mistakes.
Exactly. Okay, so it's the end of our article. We're going to take a look at our For You chat. Our question is, what support do you think South Korea should give these adopted children and their families? Let me think. Well, first of all, I can't imagine all the emotional pain that these families must have gone through. So I feel like, it's so tough to give back to them. But I do believe all that really matters is finding out their real names, their real families. And I think other additional aids like financial aid or legal aid should be provided for them for like free or maybe at a very low cost as well.
Right, and also I think counseling or psychological support could be very helpful. I mean, it would be a very tough time for them. So either being taken from their families or having their own children taken away. So I think that can be very helpful.
Yeah, I agree. So sad. Hopefully they heal from all of this too.
Yeah, and meet with their birth parents.
Yeah, they're real families, right?
好，所以听完今天的节目还觉得不够尽兴吗？欢迎到空中家教和老师练习哦。
Yeah, and that's the end of today's article. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And that's all for today. We'll see you. Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Overseas. Overseas. Anne's brother works for an overseas company, so he only comes home during national holidays each year. Struggle. Doctors struggled to keep the patient alive after a serious highway accident last night. Poverty. This area is experiencing terrible poverty after war. Many families can't even buy food. Source. Love can be a source of happiness, giving people energy to do nice things for others. Fake. The man gave the shop a fake bill, and the clerk noticed it while counting the money. Identity. The police asked for the man's name to check his identity.
智慧小补帖。
Kidnap. Adoption. Orphaned. Humanitarian. Abandoned.
轻松学英文，现在就加入空中美语空中家教官方 LINE。